Hey everybody, I'm encountering a bug where I can see players within and on the other side of smokes when they're down. I first noticed this here on the B site of Anubis when I was playing in a Premier match a few days ago. I noticed an enemy T player jumping around the backside of the smoke. It kind of looked like the outline of the player when you have boost player contrast on, except I could just kind of see them through the smoke. I'm going to show off my video settings real quick, and I'm going to actually test this on multiple video settings because I've noticed it happens no matter what I set it to. So let's jump into that real quick. So before I start showing off what I've got going on with these bots, let's check out my video settings real quick. So 1440 by 1080p stretched, brightness is at 80%. I don't think this is really going to change it because I've been trying to mess around with boost player contrast, which I currently have enabled, global shadow quality, shader detail, and ambient occlusion. The rest of my settings are just what I've been using for playing competitively. So I found that the best way to reproduce this bug is to drop a smoke on the boundary between a light source and a shadow. So if I underhand the smoke right here, right in front of these wonderful bots I've got helping me out, you can kind of see the shimmer of a player model right there as I AD back and forth. The outline of the player just kind of shimmers, and I can see this as players run back through smokes if I really look hard enough. It's really weird, and this is not the only map or position that this happens on. I'm going to show this off on a couple other positions here on Anubis, and then also probably on one other map just to prove it, because this happens quite a bit, and it has mostly been happening here on the boundary between a shadow and light. So here on the A site of Anubis, we'll do the same thing again, underhand of smoke. I'll pull out the ops so you can really see the shimmer well. As I zoom in, you can sort of see the shoulder there. And there, you can really see it. There's a one player, there's a second. Right there, you can really see the shimmer of the outline. Sometimes I can even catch the players in the back. So I'm going to do the same test again here on the A site. This time we're going to turn our video settings up to high. We're going to turn our shadows up to very high. Let it reset. Turn shaders up to high. And particle detail up to very high. Repeat it again, drop the smoke. And there you can really see it. I don't even have to scope in. You can see all three without having to scope in at all. But just to prove it, you can see it really bad on high settings. So let's try this again, but this time with boost player contrast disabled. Alright, so I've got it disabled, and let's see what we can do. And even with it disabled, you can very clearly see a player in the smoke through the shadows. So we go on the other side, and yep, there's a head. And there you can very clearly see it. It's, yeah, really bad. So again, we'll keep our settings the same here. We'll understand the smoke here in A main, and you can very clearly see two players as the shadow changes here on the side. Again, 1, 2. It's really bad. Yep, right there. And it fades. So just to prove it again that this happens on every map, I'm here in middle on Mirage on Catwalk, and we'll just take a look at my video settings again. Again, boost player contrast is disabled, and I've got those three settings now on very high. Again, that's global shadow quality, shader detail, and particle detail pushed up as far as I can go. And in fact, I'll just turn on ambient occlusion just to prove that it doesn't affect it either. So yep, our video settings have changed. Let's go back. I'm going to underhand the smoke again. Right here on the border again of the shadow. And again, you can clearly see the outline of players through the smoke. Now imagine you're an opera in window, and you're able to see that little shimmer again as the shadow changes. If a smoke like this were down, I can guarantee I've gotten a kill because of this through a smoke at least 3 or 4 times. I know that might sound like not a lot, but it's reproducible, and yeah, is really bad. So I thought for here at the end, it would be a good idea to show the hardware I'm running and some of the configs I was using, my auto exec and my nade practice config that I was executing during practice. Again, I was able to see stuff like this in Premiere, so I don't think those are going to affect it, but I'll show them anyways. Here's my GPU. It's an RX 6700 non-XT. I'm running a Ryzen 7 5800X 3D processor, 16 gigs of RAM. I'm running the latest software for AMD drivers. Going to my auto exec. Here it is. Hopefully y'all can read this. If not, I'll try to zoom in a little bit and just scroll through it. Then here's my nade practice config. This is what I was executing to go into the warm-up practice mode that I was showing this off on. So yeah, that's about it. Valve, please fix.